Step into my office really quick.
Yeah.
This week in baseball.
You know what the names of the two songs are that you start and end the show? How are you a big fan? You don't know the answer to that question. All right, thank you.
Before he stopped recruiting.
All right, fire away for Coach, please.
How was
No
it?
questions, okay, no.
How was it for you calling a game where you're running the ball more so than you pretty much ever have in the success
Easy.
you guys?
Easy. It's great. No, the guys did an awesome job. We had a pretty specific game plan that one side of the game plan opened up quite a bit when we were able to establish the run, and that obviously helps a lot of different things when you can control the box like that. And so, yeah, it was awesome.
What was your best call of the day?
What was the last one? Yeah, the last one. Touchdown.
What were you doing to affect, you've been trying to get outside with Dylan and a couple of the other guys all
Yeah.
year, but you were able to finally get it done. What was the difference?
Well, I think we've done a good job most of the year, believe it or not, in perimeter blocking. And so, I thought they did a great job of that when we can get the ball on the outside and effectively control the, defensive backs and secondary defenders, and get the edge of the box pinned down. That was a big part of the run game, obviously, on Saturday. And so we were able to get the ball outside and get Dylan freed up. And that just kept showing up. We had to use some shifts and motions to get to some different looks and, manipulate the box numbers a little bit. And that worked out pretty well for us.
So was the plan going in to run it 42 times, or that just kind of?
That's always an option, Softy. It's always an option. But we felt pretty confident that the run game was going to be able to have a chance to get on track and do really well. And like I said, the guys executed really well. And I do think it's worth saying that the kids do take it personal. They obviously don't want to run for 13 yards against Arizona State. And I think they've been practicing harder every week. I think that they truly believe they can get better. And I think for a coach, that's half the battle. If guys are in a position like this and you're 9-0 and things are going your way as far as wins and losses, that they actually believe that there's a possibility of getting better. And I know they think that. I really do. And I know they know they got a huge test this week against a really, really good defense. And, we're going to have to practice even better than we did last week.
So how much different physically is Dylan Johnson from week 1 out here coming into week 10?
Oh, he's night and day. Yeah, he's a lot better. That was a physical game for him, so we obviously got to take care of him and get him back to full strength. But, I actually pointed that out to the offense as far as getting stronger as the season goes on and taking care of your body and getting yourself in a position to be able to be a difference maker. And that's what I thought Dylan has done a great job of is strengthening his body and getting him in a position. Because he was, I would say he was 75 to 80%, week 1. And now I think you're getting closer to where he's getting more to his top end. I still think Dylan has, as a football player, I think he's still got a lot to prove and be even better. I mean that in a really good way. Like, I think his top end is really, really high.
Where I saw him come full circle was, I think the first time I ever saw him run the ball in the spring, he stiff-armed a guy to the ground, and he did that against SC too.
Yeah, he's a super strong kid. He can throw 315 on and rack that out like 15 times. I mean, he's super powerful. So it's just good seeing the skill set that we believed in, that DJ had, and see it come to fruition.
What is the growth area still?
I think the top end speed and sustainability throughout a game, which I thought he did a great job of this week, toting the ball that much and, wanting to be in the game, kind of almost demanding to be in there. And I think that for him is still the physical conditioning part and just the top end speed.
with your offense, there's, obviously a lot of attention on the quarterback, the wide receivers, rightfully so, but seeing the specific plays that Devin Culp has made this season, as well as some of your other tight ends, how important has he been and how important has that position group been?
Yeah, the tight ends have always been, part of this offensive scheme. And I think the better, obviously, that room is, the more you can manipulate the box. I've always felt like the tight ends are the controller. You can decide how many people they're going to attach to the box and the line of scrimmage and really control that situation by open sets and closed sets. And when you got guys that can manipulate the run game numbers but also stretch the field, that's in my mind, the ultimate equalizer. And so when you got guys like Dev and Jack that have been productive in the pass game, you really you can get in situations where you get guys out in routes that people don't necessarily think can get behind people, and they do that. They can be weaponized on a weekly basis.
Ryan, late in the game with Dylan, I think it was after his long run, he's on the bench. It looked like he wanted to come back in, and somebody was kind of pulling him back to give him maybe a couple plays off.
Oh yeah, for sure. he had a couple where I thought he was, I could tell he needed a break, and he was dying to get back in there. And then once I felt like he had enough of a blow, I told Coach Marks to get him back in there, and he just wanted to be in there the whole game. He knew that he was contributing, believed in his abilities. So I just wanted to make sure at the end of the football game that he was fresh. Like when we needed him as most to get his hardest yards, that he was going to be in a position to be fresh. We've had a couple opportunities where we've had longer drives where Dylan, at the end of the drive, we either pulled him or just at the wrong time. So I want to make sure I controlled that narrative myself and had him in at the right time.
And then did you ever get any explanation on the foul on Troy? It was like his helmet got ripped off. And
Yeah. I'm going to give you the PG version. He continued playing when his helmet was off. And it was ripped off. And honestly, it felt like, or it looked like on film to me, that Troy got his helmet ripped off, and then as a defender closed into him out of his peripheral, he just naturally kind of defended himself. And so that act was perceived as him continuing to play, which is a foul without your helmet on. So that was a tough break. That was a really tough penalty. He had a tough time there, too. Obviously, he had a good play, and Dylan scored, and it was a rough break.
Along those lines, did you get an explanation on the play where there was the direct snap to Dylan where Mike sort of went in motion?
Yes. It wasn't Mike. The penalty was on Rome to the boundary. Rome had his shoulders turned to the sideline to simulate getting a call. They said that was deceptive and that was illegal. So.
Was it?
Yeah, it was perfect. I thought it was really deceptive. I thought it was great. So, yeah, we obviously, when things like that happen, the biggest thing we have to do as coaches is make sure that we educate the guys. Like, hey, listen, whether we think it was right or not, we got to educate you on the rules. And this has become a point of emphasis is what the refs have told us. We've done that play numerous times, so have other teams. Hadn't been called. So we just got to follow up and make sure we have clarification with the refs.
On that long drive where Dylan did come out, we saw Tybo Rogers come into the game.
Yeah.
Now we've seen him down on the goal line against Oregon, and now late in the fourth quarter against USC too. What has he shown you just to feel confident to put him in those spots? Yeah,
he's been more reliable. He's still got definitely some room to grow in that regard. But I think the number one piece, nobody's questioning, Tybo's physical ability or what he can do with the ball in his hand. He's special that way. His pass protection and just reliability on knowing the system are the two things he's continuing to improve on. He's still got a lot of, room to grow in that regard. You saw Mike score on quarterback sneak down on the goal line. Tybo was supposed to be tight to the line. He wasn't, So there's still little things like that he knows he has to improve on, and he's getting better. But it's great. He's out there making a difference on special teams. He's making plays on offense, and he's growing every week.
On Dylan, am I remembering right when he was coming out of the portal, it kind of took a late extra push from you guys to get him here?
It did.
Did you have to go back there?
Did. Yeah, there was a couple different trips to Mississippi. So, yeah, we went down there and saw him again. And there was, truth be told, there was a little bit of indecision, with what was going on with me personally. And so I think that hurt a little bit at the time. And, once we got that all cleared up, it was really good. Me and Coach Marks went back down to Greenville and saw him and his family again, and everything was good after that.
So he said, Dylan did, that he shouldn't have played in the Boise game, and then he went out and got acupuncture after that. Do you remember any of that?
Yeah, I don't know any of the treatment recommendations or what they actually do to get out there, but I know the main thing to me was, Dylan just knew he wasn't himself and wasn't playing. He was super frustrated, and he wasn't able to make the plays he knew that he had the ability to make. And so the 1 week that we sat him and tried to get him over the hump a little bit, I think was a really good move. And I think that was kind of the catalyst to start getting him over that next hump and getting him feeling better.
And then the play to Devin for the touchdown with Mike.
Yeah.
Where does that kind of rank on the list of?
3rd and 18 and a scramble play, reversing out in the pocket. It was fantastic. And, the layered throw is obviously a phenomenal catch by Dev, but just seeing the sideline mechanics on a scramble play and the guys understand how to be in a layered formation on the sideline and just executing that at a really high level on a scramble play, I thought was great. They pinned the side down, Dev got behind it, Mike layered the ball behind him, and obviously made a really good play, so it was awesome.
Did you get a sense of how he had to hang on to that ball, though? Because the side judge is waiting to see if he caught it.
Yeah.
Feet are in bounds.
Yeah.
He almost got it pinned up against his wrist.
Man, we have stressed this since I've got here, and just a huge testament to the kids to understand that the way you get calls and you don't get plays reviewed is the ball doesn't move. And if you can remember back to last year, CD catching that rail to the field against Oregon State, and the thing never flinched, never moved. And that was a huge play in that game. And you just see it over and over and over. And the guys believe that, they know it, that when you're in those sideline situations, all you have to do is let the ball bobble a little bit. It's going to get reviewed, potentially overturned. And so just Dev did a great job, obviously, using strong hands, securing the football. And there's been a lot of those clips, I can think of over the last 2 years. And that's where, there's just a belief in the guys understand that when it's in the air, it's theirs. And they've done a good job with that.
I thought the offensive line played as well as I've seen him in a long, long time. How much of that has to do with not only Julius Buelow being back, but him being back to being healthy and the chemistry he has with those guys?
Yeah, Juice, I thought he played really well. I think he's improving, and I thought during the course of the week he got better. And I think, up front, specifically, since the Arizona State game, really put a challenge out there to the O-line that they need to practice more physical and they need to practice harder, and they certainly have. And I think it's paid dividends. I think they're playing harder. I think they're practicing harder, and I think it's showing up on Saturdays. So they'll certainly have to follow that through this week as playing a really physical team. But I think getting them back to a guy that's got a lot of experience like Juice, has really helped us as well.
As a follow-up to that, is Garen Hatchett injured? And as a
Yeah.
follow-up to that, you've got Mimilar and Warsh as scholarship guys that are out for the season. Are you having to dip into your freshmen beyond Landon Hatchett now as far as reliable backups?
Really it's probably more of a 7-man game, and Teo too is the other guy that's out. So yeah, Garen is out right now. He has an ankle injury and he's recovering from that. So last night when I saw him, he's still working through it. I don't think he probably won't be available this week. He'll come back yet this year, but he's still working through that pretty significant ankle injury. So he'll get there. But as far as the freshman piece, not in a realistic backup type role. I think there's other guys that we just have to shuffle into different places for now.
Who was that other name you threw out there?
Teo.
Oh,
You had said the other guys that were out, and Teo, our starting center, and we were watching film the other day. I saw him on some cut-ups, and, you just get bummed thinking about where he would be right now as well. And Parker's playing great, but having Parker and Teo in the lineup was awesome.
You alluded to it, but you're going up against a defense that allows 88 rushing yards a game, one of the better sack defenses in the country. What's that challenge like from a physical standpoint, what you're going to have to bring on Saturday?
Yeah, I think they're the most physical defense we've seen, and they're the champs. And that's what we told the guys. You're going out there to play the champs. They're back-to-back Pac-12 champs. They're a really well-coached football team. This isn't a new defense they're learning. They're not in a new place. It's a lot of consistency within that program, and those are the teams that have grooved reps and and understand how to get ready for a good game plan and go into a big game on the road. So certainly they'll be ready for that and the tests that we'll give them. But the guys are looking forward to it. I think they're excited to play another big game and, just one at a time.
How close was J-Mac to coming back, and where's his availability?
Yeah, he's getting a second opinion on Tuesday. So tomorrow he's going to see another set of doctors that help out with the Seahawks. So that should either help move him along a little bit more or give us a better idea of what else we need to do to get him back to full strength.
Is there a decision on Giles Jackson this week? Is he on the bubble?
He's still under 4, so we're moving full steam ahead. Yep, one game at a time. And right now, Giles made some critical catches and plays in the game, and right now we need him, and we'll plan on playing him this
Do you
week.
get one more after this before you have to decide what to do with?
This will be his 4th.
Okay.
Yep, this would be his 4th one.
I know the bowl games don't count toward that, but does the Pac-12 with potential Pac-12?
No, postseason games don't count. So yeah, I mean, once we get to the Apple Cup, we're clear sailing. I got to figure that out though.
On Michael's quarterback sneak,
Yeah,
Giles Jackson hit a jump shot.
all 3 receivers did. Yeah, Boston's was pathetic, but the other 2 guys look pretty good.
Who put that in?
Oh, that's got to be Shep, I'm sure, or the guys. Who knows? I didn't even ask. I'm sure it was the guys.
Did I see Giles Jackson take a free throw or a jump shot on?
Yeah, that's what he was just talking. So, on Mike's quarterback sneak, all 3 guys did a little fadeaway.
Didn't hear him.
All good. Thanks.
Pay attention.
Last year on the first
You guys.
day.
Hey, Coach, I know during practice you guys have the vests on where you're tracking guys and how much they're moving and energy and stuff.
Yep.
Do your defensive linemen wear that?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've gotten to the point now, we've got quite a few guys that are in it. So got guys, our strength staff does a good job. They've gotten some more vests so we can track GPS data daily.
How was it for your linemen on Saturday?
Crazy. Yeah. I mean, guys are running miles and miles and miles. Obviously, you watch on film, there's plays where, he's obviously very challenging to get on the ground, but just guys in the back half running, back and forth across the field 3-4 times, and defensive ends and backers chasing him. And I think that was one thing that, I told the guys after the game. I mean, they were relentless in staying on top of continuing to fight through every single play and give great effort every single play, and minimize, the damage when he was out of the pocket.
How special of a moment was it for Zion to get that sack?
Oh, man. I don't think you could script it any better. I mean, I think he's such a, obviously such a big piece of what we do, and has been through, just an unbelievable experience. And for him to have that happen, I'm just so happy for him. He's got a lot of things he's dealing with right now, but I think, when you're really invested in the kids on the team and they're all invested in each other, you can't write a better story than having that happen. And it was, clearly, a massive play in the game. Giving us a super short field, go in, take the lead. I mean, just an absolute critical play.
Chuck, he had talked, Zion did, after the game about potentially not playing.
Yeah.
What were those conversations like with him during the week?
Well, I mean, we just really left it to him, and just, gave him a little bit of space and, hey, what do you want to do and how do you want to approach this? And, he came in one day just definitive. He goes, just told us, hey, there's no doubt. My dad will want me playing. I want to play. I want to be there for the team. And it was clear cut, right from early in the week that he was going to be out there on the field.
Saw a lot of Mish at safety in that game. Is that necessity because of the injury situation?
Yeah, necessity for sure, and told, some of those guys, him and Jabbar, really appreciate veteran guys like that when you get in certain situations and you just go into them on, Monday, game plan day, Tuesday, and say, hey, this is what we need this week. And him switching positions and then Jabbar moving positions for the week was absolutely imperative to, what we felt like was going to give us our best chance to come out with a win. And those guys, man, they put in so much time last week because there were, you know, a lot of new things that they had to learn in order to go out and be successful. And they still made some mistakes, and there's no doubt about that. But at the same time, I look at that, that's on me. If, you know, and I'm asking guys to play new positions, and but really proud of them for going out and being able to pull that off.
9 pressures by Braylon Saturday. I guess PFF says the most in college football. And
Yeah.
You can stop him, but felt like if you're playing anybody else besides Caleb Williams, you may have had 10 sacks in that game.
Yeah, well, it was, man, it was a battle for the ages. You sit in and watch the end zone copy, and you know the chess match every play where you know Braylon's going to get loose, and it's just a matter of, 13 contorting his body in some bizarre ways to be able to get away from him. But then the characteristic of Trice that I know it's been said a lot of times, how hard he plays. It's incredible. Even after Caleb would get away from him, I mean, he is running full speed, trying to chase his ass down and working to get him on the ground. So, yeah, it was fun to watch, and very, Trice is playing great for us right now and extremely disruptive.
As good as Caleb Williams is, I think I saw a stat where he has the most time to throw than any quarterback in the country, and that's because of how elusive he is. How hard is it for you to really judge if your defense played that well or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think you look at it through the lens of controllable and non-controllable. Like, and I know that's a coach's cliche. We talk about, control the controllables, and there are certainly things, throughout the course of the game that's controllable, and we need to hammer it out. We need to fix it. And then there's 7 or 8 things that he did that's outside of our control. Guys are playing really hard. We're getting him to the right spot. We're pushing him in the right direction that we want to push him to, and he still makes the play he makes. You got to tip your hat. I mean, he's a generational talent, and you got to accept some of those plays. And I think we really focus a little bit more on not some of the amazing plays that he made. It's just like, what can we do and at times, and what plays that we should have taken care of, and really make sure we button those up and address those.
How well do you think your defense played on?
Yeah, I thought we were up and down. I probably look at just the consistency, the finish. Really proud of the guys for the finish. I really, if we look at one specific series, the drive in the second quarter was a disappointment for us. I think you get them in a backed up position, and certainly something we hang our defense on is fitting up the run and being in the right spots. And there's that series where the run game went all the way down the field rapidly, and that's something that's unacceptable from our standpoint. Our guys know that, staff, everybody. Obviously really important. So when I look at that piece of it's disappointing because we're always going to be sound in our run game, and there was a couple of times where we weren't, and it's something that we've got to get fixed.
How did Thule come out of it? Was he on a limited count too?
Yeah, we just pitch snap. I mean, we're just, we know how desperately we need him as a huge factor for us here going down the back half of the season, and his game is probably not chasing around the 13 all day. So we did have him on a limited pitch snap and pitch count, and then but we are expecting now. He feels good coming out of the weekend. He had 14, 15 snaps, and hopefully we can at least double that going into this week. We're going to need him this week.
With the delayed flea flicker, or however you'd call that, is that something you've seen before? What was your reaction to that play in particular?
I mean, it's I'll say several things about that play. First of all, we work versions of reverse flea flicker all the time. To have a one-man outside zone, and then the guy that got handed the ball reverse the field of direction by himself and be the reverse guy, and then pitch it back to the quarterback, that one was new. So I'm going to tip my hat to SC's coaching staff on that one. The guys got into, we were great defending the initial piece of the play, but then once number one started reversing fields, it felt like, a lot of guys felt like he was cutting back because we were good at the point of attack, like he was cutting back, and guys started pursuing, and that's when all of a sudden, Caleb steps back and they pop it back to him, and it's good play design.
Vince Nunley played for the first time since Arizona. What's his availability, and I guess what led to him being able to play Saturday?
Yeah, I won't get into the deep details on that, but I'd say it's great to have him back. Planning on using him a bunch coming up here.
So he's good moving forward?
Correct. Yep.
How do you feel like your corners are playing the ball? It's easy for fans and people like me to sit there
Sure.
and watch defenders not turning around. you know, with their backs to the quarterback when balls are completed? How do you want those guys to play balls like that?
Yeah, I mean, we're always trying to play stuff top down, and you know, I think a couple of the plays. I mean, if you look back, the 4th and 1 play, right? I mean, it's another one where I'm going to put that in the category of, you know, tip my hat to 13 on it. They're running quarterback. It's 4th and 1. They're running quarterback power / T pipe. You know, the pop pass, the old Tebow pop pass to the other side of the field. The guy that catches the ball is got to be the 12th guy in the read progression. He's the last throw. EJ's in good position on him and competitive, and it's an amazing play, you know. So, you know, I think there's times like that where it's like as long as guys are competing at the top of the route, we're good. You know, but there's other times where, you know, at times throughout the course of the season, we've been a little bit handsy on some stuff and got to be better about staying clean with our hands and making sure that we're not grabbing a wrist or grabbing a piece of jersey.
What about possible offensive PI on a couple of those? 'Cause it sure looked like
Yeah.
guys pushed off on EJ.
Yeah, obviously we felt that way, but at the same standpoint, I mean, I've told you tell every DB ever, there's no such thing as offensive PI, right? I mean, it's a fact of the matter, and you know, be as physical as you can at the top of the route, and then of course there's some separation there, but I don't know, you know, you just don't see that call come out that often, and so at the end of the day, it's like, hey, did you compete at the top of the route as hard as you can, and then you got to live with the results.
How have some of your younger corners progressed, and do you feel like any of them, Caleb, Curley, anybody, are they even remotely close to?
No, those guys are improving. There's no doubt about that. But I mean, if you look at the portion of the season and who we're playing against right now, I mean, there's an entirely. I mean, now those guys get to go up against you know, Rome and guys like that every day, which is really good for their development. But then there's an entirely different level of being ready to execute game plan in massive moments. I mean, I think every play is massive for us right now, and so, you know, they're not quite ready for that type of spotlight.
You guys have never hesitated to put a freshman out in the field with the game still on the line, and, you know, Parker and Green last year. Did I see Jacob Lane out there at the end of this game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Was that because Sakai got banged up?
Yeah, well, and I think Jacob's been making some fantastic progress. I mean, we are very, very pleased with him. I think he is going to be, you know, the next. He's got a chance if he continues to develop. Is going to be one of the next dynamic edges at UW, and has been playing extremely well in practice. And you know, obviously we got short on a couple of guys out there on Saturday, and he's taken a lot of practice reps to the point that we're getting to trust him and know that he's an elusive pass rusher and critical situations like, okay, let's go get the quarterback, young pup, and he's on a fantastic upward trend right now for us.
Goforth was really familiar with everybody on that team. How much help was he pregame, or was he able to sniff anything out?
You know, we got a little bit of tidbits throughout the course of the week. Obviously, he's gone against that offense, you know, daily in practice for, you know, some time. And so we got a little bit of a feel. And, you know, but really leading up to, I know it was a really emotional game for him and wanted him to, you know, focus on just taking care of, you know, what he needed to handle. But had some good insight on a few things for us that, you know, just some small detailed things that were good things for us to know. But at the same time, it was it was a great day for him. You know, obviously being able to, I'm so excited for him. That 3rd and 5 end of the game, he gets to make the tackle on their sideline. What a cool deal for him. Good. Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
Yeah, this loud ass radio guy.
All right. I think just wrapping up last week, just again, said it's Saturday, but proud of the resiliency and just proud of the fight. Just it being in the moment, never having regrets on anything that happened, and just focusing on moving forward. And guys are, I think, during the course of the week, always looking to improve, and that's why, you know, we have the success. It's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to do it. You know, when it comes to wanting to improve and believing that it still needs to happen at this time of the season. So, you know, we have won a lot of different ways, and you know, I think whether it's each side of the ball and what they do, you know, seeing the run game certainly have its moment. You know, Saturday was a big deal, and just you know, the growth of our football team, you know, from 1 week to the next, I think happens in different ways. Question?
How frustrated were you at the time with the pick? You got a chance to go up 2 scores, started the third quarter. Tell me about kind of how the team kind of battled back from that.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm frustrated. I mean, I just understand that that's part of what we do. I mean, when 9 cuts it loose, I got nothing but 100% confidence that, he's making the right read, making the throw. And, I mean, you got a 6'6" linebacker, which doesn't happen very often with a long wingspan. And, I mean, if after that ball is a couple inches higher, it's a touchdown, And so throwing on time and, delivering it right where it needed to be. Yeah, I mean, that was, I think, what you're getting to is, it was a big moment where you can take a 2-score lead and really felt that going back into the end of the first half when ZTF got the stack and the strip sack, and knowing that we were getting the ball to start the third quarter, that's a big thing for us is that momentum going to the locker room, coming out, and, kind of squandered that momentum away a little bit there, but just knowing that still, hey, worst case scenario, it's a tie game, but let's keep fighting, let's keep playing, and that's what our guys did, and never looked back, nothing on the sideline. It was all about, next drive mindset from the offense and the defense going out there and just, playing when their number's called.
Coach, after the game, you and Zion, the cameras caught it on the post game. You and Zion had a pretty emotional moment together. And without getting too specific, what were maybe some of the thoughts you were sharing with him?
Yeah, I think it's just that how much everyone loves him, and us understanding what he's been going through. It was a hard week. I think just I had a lot of flashes of just what it was like a week ago. When he found out about his dad, and right after the Stanford game, and then what that week was like. And how it was hard for him throughout the course of the week, and then. Just even during the course of the game, I think there was a couple. I caught one time. I think it was even right after he made the big play. Just an emotional time on the sideline. I mean, him just working through it. personally, a lot of those type of flashes, and then just knowing the journey that we've been on together and how special of a person he is. That it was more about those thoughts and just wanting to reiterate to him, how proud we are of him, how much we appreciate what. The brotherhood means to, because I heard him say, that he had to be there for his brothers, and, that's certainly, goes the other way too, where we all need to be there for him. So he's such a special, not just special talent, but a special person.
What did you see in the blocked punt, and what kind of went wrong there?
Yeah, we just had one player not, block. It was really not a scheme thing. I mean, they weren't even really coming at us hard, so really caught us off guard that. We had a breakdown there.
When you went back and watched it, how special was that 22-yarder from Penix to Culp on the rollout, perfect ball placement? Is that one of his better throws that he's made?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on there, right? Third down, and to get flushed out of the pocket, and then just eyes downfield. We preach it, we work it all the time with the scramble drill and the spacing for different guys on different layers, on levels, and just. Then the ability, right, of Mike to make the throw, to Dev to be able to go up and make that catch, be strong. A lot of times guys worried about their feet and they don't catch the ball first. He catches it, has to fight for it, and then still gets, not really almost 2 feet down. So just a great play. He's done that a couple times for us. I think about the Arizona game on I think it was a third down play. Really highly contested. Man, it's cool seeing Dev, have these moments, and he's worked really hard to be prepared for that time. When those times when they come.
Another guy that kind of got almost overlooked and had, I thought, a huge play in the game was Voy Tanufi at the end.
Yeah, and the thing is Voy coming off. You talking about the sack?
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Voy is he's a little lower to the ground. We all know, right? And so him being able to adjust and be in that spot, I've seen him do that a couple times. I remember the sack he had, I think, at the end of the Arizona game last year too. He's in the right place. He's a crafty guy. He, instinctual, and there's obviously a game that we're playing with him and the other guys up front, and seeing him come off, you got a lot of confidence when Voy's in that position to finish the play, and he did. he held on, and man, that was a big moment for
He's
us.
almost a defensive tackle again now instead of an edge rusher.
We did have him play some in all week long. We did move him inside, and that's the beauty of Voy. He'll do whatever you ask, and he does it well. Whether it's playing edge, playing interior, and that will change from week to week depending on our needs.
Kalen, back to Zion for a second. When you hear him talk about wanting to be there for his brothers, and you see the support that you were offering plus his teammates, what does that tell you about the way you've been able to build this culture within 2 seasons to where it has that sort of level of strength to it?
Yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud of the way the guys just are there for each other, and that that they're willing to sacrifice whatever the words are that you want to use to put the team in front of them, even in their hardest times. But I'm just really proud, and that was a thing I wanted to make sure I continued to echo to him, is how much he means to our whole football team.
At this time of year, everybody's dinged up. Are you going full steam ahead, or are you having to throttle some stuff back during the week?
We've cut back a little bit on practices, whether it's a certain situation or competitive drills that we do. We've cut back a period or two, 5 or 10 minutes from practice. So that really was something that we would have done. We kind of used the templates from all the years I've been doing this, and there comes to kind of each week, and we reassess really Sunday and Monday, just kind of where we're at, if it's time to peel back. But that doesn't change the intensity. The intensity of those periods needs to be at an extremely high level. We can take 5 or 10 minutes off of practice, but the guys understand that, hey, we're doing that so that you can give 100%, and we do not want the intensity level, because then that's where the execution starts dropping off and all those type of things. So the guys know that we're there trying to work for them to try to help them be as fresh as they can. So Saturdays, they're ready to roll.
Grady Gross had some pretty big shoes to fill this year. How much growth have you seen from him? Maybe not just in the field goal department, but what he's done on kickoffs too.
Yeah, it's really cool. Within the team, Grady's really become a favorite. His clip, him knocking the field goal through, was the first clip I showed the whole team. And when everyone sees him lining up to kick, it's a lot of hoots and hollers by our team. Just excited for him and how he's just accepted the challenge and the opportunity, and him knocking the kicks through consistently, and then the kickoffs. He's just, it's a tough task to, a lot of people do it, but I think you see throughout the course of the year, and it was a concern of mine, because I do have a belief that if you can have one guy do one thing and one guy do the other when it comes to kickoffs and the field goal work, that it can help save your leg in the long haul of the season. But Grady's done a great job of, watching his reps and during the week. Our coaching staff's done a good job of really working with him, and he stayed fresh, he stayed sharp, and that whole unit from Jaden to Jack, Holding to Grady, they're on point. The timing is good, it's quick. Our blocking, they believe that if they do their part, the rest of it will be executed. But Grady's just done an awesome job. We're super proud of him.
On the kickoffs, is there a balance between, hey, you've got a guy who can put it through the end zone most of the time, so just do that, and maybe wanting to pop it up a little and bait people into trying to return it on you guys?
Yeah, I think right now it's just, there's two things. We're one of the best in the country right now when it comes to our kickoff coverage team, and most times we're just telling Grady to just fly it through the end zone, and he's done a really good job of that. You're seeing teams right now, even we do pop it up, they're just fair catching because they see the mindset our guys have running down the football field, and even times now they're not even getting to the 20-yard line. So, might as well just kick it through the end zone. Sometimes the wind, the air affects that a little bit, so you can't count on that. So the week of work that we're put in, making sure we're executing our jobs, these guys are really taking a lot of pride in that as a whole unit with the kickoff. So starts with Grady, his location, his depth, all that stuff matters. But we do have some of those kicks in different areas in our arsenal if we need them.
Similar, Utah ran for 350 on ASU. How much of that was them just running the clock out up 34-3, and how much of that was them just pushing ASU around? We saw on film?
Yeah, I mean they're very physical, and we all know, not from experience, I can't say personally, but I just know watching their film over the years, and again this year, that being physical, being tough, it's what they pride themselves on. That's how they feel they're going to go attack the game, and that's been a big part of their success and winning back-to-back conference championships. So huge hats off to them and the belief in their identity and what they do, and that carries over to what they do defensively too, because they're very tough and physical there.
So any of your players brought up the last Utah-Washington game, where it was Utah went up 21-zip at halftime, and the Huskies won it in the last 30 seconds?
No, we haven't had really any of those conversations. We met on Sunday and gave them a brief intro on everything from the team aspect and our approach to a little bit of offense and defense, personnel. But yeah, we haven't talked. This is, and again, I always there might be a historical piece once in a while I throw at the guys, but kind of the common theme each and every week when these different things do come up has been that this is about the 2023 Huskies, and so sometimes there's some interesting information, especially after the fact when you play a game that it's cool for the guys to hear.
So what the issues with a run game that Chuck talked about Saturday versus USC, what needs to be cleaned up specifically before this game?
Yeah, I think it's just it's one guy just knowing where you got to force the ball back to once in a while. I mean, that was the strength of their football team still. I mean, I know 13, and he just adds another level to it. But that was what they do. Said it all week long. That they were averaging, nearly double digits in yards per carry when it came to rushing the football. It's just it's what they do. And so doesn't mean that it's okay, from our end to allow that to continue to happen, because I think we take a lot of pride in that. We've done a good job against the run. I'd like to. Last year was probably a little bit better than this year, but we get our guys healthy and we get them all out there. We're pretty good against the run. So I think especially when it comes to the execution. But there was a couple plays where it was just unfortunate that drive. I know Coach Morrell was just talking about when we had them backed up. There's just a couple execution things, just guys knowing where they need to be, fighting through a certain shoulder, forcing the ball a certain way, rather than taking a blocker on thick, and now all of a sudden the running back's got a two-way go, and everyone's trusting that ball is going to be funneled in a certain direction. So we've been pretty good on that, and that's why we haven't given up many explosives. But even on that drive alone, those were the two biggest explosives we've given up all year rushing the football.
Utah's got a safety who also plays running back at times. Vaki just seems kind of a unique player. When you look at him on film, what do you see, and how unique is that kind of skill set in the way that they use him?
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. I didn't realize that till yesterday. We haven't had a lot of carryover on both sides of the ball watching the film, and so seeing what he does defensively, and then the explosiveness and how many times he touches it and what the yards are per carry, it's impressive. So pretty good athlete there, and they're utilizing their athletes to help win football games, piecing it together. I know without rising, but now is what I think you see them developing their rhythm. The last few weeks, offensively, I just feel like they're sharper. I know the Oregon game they got, shut down more so, but the identity, the understanding of roles, the things that they're trying to do, adding a few more things, even with some tempo this last week against ASU, just a lot of things that they're just continuing to tap into now that they know who their people are.
Kalen, the 1-0 mentality that a lot of teams and coaches, as you guys have, how hard is that to continue to make sure the kids subscribe to that with the enormity of what you guys have done and what's going on right now?
I think it's hard when maybe you don't have the experiences that we've had because of the success that having that mindset gives you. And you know, for us, yeah, it's always going to be a challenge, right? It's just human nature is to, when things are really hard, to you know, to not look ahead and have some regrets. And when things are really good, human nature just says, hey, let off the gas and relax a little bit. And for us, you know, can't say it's perfect all the time, but I think we do it as good as anyone does as far as being focused in the moment. Yes, realizing and trying to enjoy the moment too, trying to enjoy the journey we're on, and realize what we're accomplishing, but also understand because of what we've done, man, there are some big moments ahead. And the main moment is this Saturday, and our guys are ready. I mean, they're excited about another big time opponent coming into Husky Stadium. And you know, just I think last week you could see them realizing, hey, we're on the home stretch here, and there's not a lot of practices left. When you really look at it, three practices a week. I know there's some walkthroughs and Fridays and things like that, but there's really 3 practices a week. We're talking about 9 practices for the rest of the regular season, and that's going to go in a blink of an eye. So, man, take advantage of everything they worked for to put us in the spot we're in, and let's go attack.
How are you health-wise going into Saturday, and any update on Jalen McMillan?
Yeah, I would say Jalen will be questionable. There's some things we'll figure out here this week, understand better and more. Just trying to figure out what's best for him, and I know he wants that, and just some clarity too, and just confirmation, I guess, not clarity, but more confirmation. So, but I'd say he's questionable, and then I think for the most part, just maybe some guys at edge just got to work through some bruises, some things with football, just typical contact stuff, but we should be all right. I mean, who you saw on Saturday, I think really that's who we should be able to have out there on the football field this coming Saturday.
Did Tolk get the wind knocked out a little bit when he fell on his back?
Yeah, he did. We just land flat on his back there, so yeah.
Asa?
Yeah, we won't have Asa this weekend. Yep.
Jalen, has there been any discussion of shutting him down or any concern that he might not be able to come back this season, just with kind of how tenuous?
As of right now, I don't think that's what it is, because we've brought him back. He's just been really close, and we wouldn't have brought him back if we didn't feel he was there, because there is a long game picture even for this season that we were really hoping, that he, as far as his involvement, but we wouldn't have brought him back if we didn't feel like he was ready. He wouldn't have come back. That's just our doctors wouldn't have put him in that spot either. So just trying to get, I've used it a couple times, to trying to get over the hump with him, just to get to that next level to where he feels good about it, feels confident, and he's again not that far away, and so just I think getting confidence in what he's feeling and is a big piece of it too. I would hope that he'd be back here, this season yet.
How does the conversation work with Giles Jackson? Like, is that something where his parents get involved? And how do you guys kind of walk through that with him?
Yeah, Giles, we certainly are always okay with talking with parents if that needs be, but I think Giles has expressed to us that he will do whatever the team needs, and that's just the type of guy he is. I think if there was a way and it worked out, he keeping that extra year would be something he'd be in favor of, but he also realizes that these times, may never come again. You just can't take it for granted that you're going to be in a championship run and have this type of season as a team that we're having. So he'll do whatever the team needs. He's just that unselfish, and we appreciate that about him. But we've just conversations week to week.
You guys have been dynamic at times in the return game. Rome had the punt return, and Jeremy's been real good. But of course, injuries health is an issue. Do you think about bringing Jeremy back to that place, or Rome, or at this point is the priority just to keep those guys healthy?
Yeah, I think that could happen. I think there are times and places, and those guys. especially Germ. I think he's still kind of just working back, and he wouldn't be the same, especially for the punt return role. But I'm not saying that this week he couldn't be. Just physically, there's a lot of side-to-side movement and things like that. And so, just there might be a chance we'll always reevaluate week to week, especially with Germ, I think, in his situation, because he was doing such a really good job there on the kickoff returns. Daniel's got a lot of ability back there, too. He broke some tackles and did a nice job on Saturday.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Let's go.